Alright everyone, hello and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is HRL Reach Throwback week number 4. It's going to be round number 7 as far as the individual races go. Detail won the heat in this one, so he's going to be starting in first on the right side. Left side is going to be Luke, right side Vulcan, left side Opix, right side Slaunch, left side Hunter, and then Soul in the back. We're going to go on board with Soul to start the race. It's going to be a 42 lap race, which will put us around 85 on the checkpoints. Green flag. The outside line gets a really good start. Luke's going to shoot to the lead. Detail trying to hold on to second place. Opix seeing if he can make something happen around the outside. Slaunch and Vulcan looking like they kind of want to draft, but not really going for it. Maybe thinking about it. It almost looks like they're hooked up, but doesn't really look like they're moving anywhere. Even though kind of looks like they should be, but just kind of locked up right now. But now they're going to work their way by Opix, or at least Slaunch will be able to. We'll see if Vulcan can follow suit. Okay, now it definitely looks like, oh, there's the shift. There's the shift in their draft. Now Detail gets a really bad run there as well, and they're going to go by Opix and Detail. So Slaunch and Vulcan making moves, going up to second and third. Soul now trying to work his way past Hunter. Detail getting forced to the high side here. Got to figure something out here if he wants to get back with the pack. 3 wide down the backstretch. Soul, Opix, and Detail. Hunter maybe going to look to Detail's inside back there if he has the breathing room. Don't really think he does, though. A few laps in, Luke's got a pretty decent lead, but Slaunch and Vulcan look like they're hooked up behind him, so if it goes green for a few laps, they might be able to catch up. And yeah, Detail already dropping to the back, so from first to last, not a great start for him in this one. Probably hoping for a caution. Oh, is there gonna be one? No, they shift. They shift. Oh, there's definitely caution potential with the way Slaunch and Vulcan are running right now. Oh, and we have potentially our first death of the season. I think it's the first death. Unless I forgot one, but Vulcan gets conked out of the draft there and goes off the map, goes for a little dive in the pool. It's going to bring out our first caution at Charlotte. And get his laps back, and he's going to mess it up and get a lap ahead. Nice job, Vulcan. But he did bring it back quick enough, so it'll work out because we'll get to the backstretch anyways. So he didn't completely mess it up, so there you go. Green flag. Luke with a pretty good start again. Getting up front early. Slaunch in second. Vulcan going to have to work his way from the back now. Obviously not ideal. That caution, he was doing a great job in the top 3. I was probably pretty happy with that. But yeah, now he's all the way to 6th place and not exactly where he wants to be. Slaunch making a big run for the lead. Slaunch going to go around Luke to take 1st place. So Slaunch leading early on here at Charlotte. Luke falls back to 2nd. Opix trying to hold on to podium spot from Soul right now. Trying to force him as far inside as he can on the exits of the turns. You could tell the way the exits are, definitely lose a little bit of speed if you're too far inside, so it's something you can do. Try to force the driver on your inside as far down there as possible, but a lot of the times they end up, if they have enough of a run on you, they end up just getting the nice entry into the next turn anyways, so it kind of like, you know, kind of defeats the purpose, but sometimes it works, depends on the track. This track, Charlotte, that inside transition generally isn't that bad, and they're trying to draft as well. It's not just protective racing, they're also trying to get a draft going here. They're trying to catch Slaunch and Luke, and they're getting it going for like little bits of time here, but can't really just quite hold it the whole way. Yeah, just can't really do it the whole way here. But yeah, it just looks like some sort of moderate draft, and they just can't really get it to work the whole way around. Looks like Detail and Vulcan maybe thinking about doing the same thing back there, and honestly, it's definitely an option. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to make up this time on your own, and without pit stops or cautions or like a bigger field, it's going to be pretty tough to make up this time without the assistance of a draft partner. And oh wow, look at this. Detail and Vulcan look like they really figured it out, and they are flying. They are absolutely flying, and they are here. I just looked at them like a lap ago, looked behind us, and was like, oh yeah, they might be trying to peek in, and no, they're already there. Out. Detail gets forced out of it. That is not what he was hoping for. So he kind of just brought Vulcan back to the podium spot and then got left out to dry. So unfortunate there. Luke getting still pretty close to Slaunch. Seeing if we can find some sort of opening. But so far, Slaunch doing a good job holding the lead. Of course, Slaunch had a pretty good chance of winning the Daytona race. Ended up having to settle for a third place, but he's had an up and down reach season, or just really an up and down fall series so far. The Firestone Firehawk's been really successful for him. It's most wins he's picked up in a long time, and he's even leading the points at this point in the season. And then the Reach Throwback, on the other hand, he started off pretty hot with a good third place at Daytona, and then just really hasn't been able to figure it out and replicate that success since that race. So, but so far so good. You know, not a great heat race, but to be fair, he got lag flipped, and that's kind of what happened to him at Road America as well. But so far in the feature here, he's done a good job working his way up to the lead, and he is going 100. What the fuck? How is he going? What? Is the theater bugged? Well, Slaunch has Host Goose confirmed. Slaunch has Host Goose confirmed. There's no way that's right, because he's not. That can't be right, because he's not pulling away right now. It actually doesn't make sense. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. That's actually weird. But yeah, that's that's interesting. I don't know what the fuck is up with that. But so far so good. He's led most of this first race and only has so far to go. And this looks kind of sus right here with Soul and Vulcan. This is okay. There you go. Now they shift out of it. I was gonna say that's not what you want to see when two drivers are drafting. You don't want to see that happen where one of them starts to like lift up like that, like Soul was doing, and how Vulcan was like kind of going under him. You don't want to see that happen. When that starts to happen, usually that means bad things are about to happen. That's usually what it indicates. So, gotta watch out for that. Honestly, it's not really working out so well for these guys. I mean, so far it seems like the two best draft sets were Detail and Vulcan were really pulling, and Slaunch and Vulcan were also pulling pretty well. But it seems like the other sets of draft partners that have given it a shot this race just haven't really been able to hook it up as well. And I mean, they're getting some speed, but it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't even seem like Optics and Detail are really losing that much time behind them, and Luke and Slaunch seem to be pulling away from top three. So I don't really think it's doing a whole lot at the moment for them. We're getting pretty close. The end of this lap, we're going to be hitting the halfway point here. So already at the halfway point of this race. But yeah, Charlotte Classic, Intermediate, Oval, and this one can be pretty fun. Can have some pretty good battles on this track. As you can see, there's some good battles in the heat, and it looks like these Vulcan and Soul are having this little back and forth right here. Optics and Detail are going to try to open up one back there as well. And yeah, it's a classic track. Had to throw it in the season. And it's the third oval race. We've got three more after this. We got Milwaukee Mile, Adrenaline Autodome, and Homestead to close it out. So we got another short track, got an intermediate, similar to this, but quite different still, and a dirt track, dirt oval, which is kind of interesting in Reach. So yeah, the season's got a pretty good variety as far as the oval tracks go. And I would say as far as all the track types go, like, yeah, there's 6 road courses, 6 ovals, 6 SXMX, but they're all pretty different. And even like for Supercross, like the 2 motocross tracks are not that similar. Cedar Ridge and Blackwater are very, very, very different feeling tracks. And same thing could be said for the ovals. Like Big Bear's a short track, and so is Milwaukee Mile, but you'll see when we get to that track. I mean, they are very, very different tracks. Not really too similar, other than being in the same category. So I like the variety that we've got here. And Luke started to close the gap back to Slaunch. We'll see if he can make anything happen here. Because Slaunch was pulling away for a bit, but maybe he lost the 95 for a bit or ran some rough laps, because it seems like Luke's closed it back in a bit here. And looking to the inside a little bit here. Got a tire. Gonna try to make it happen. See if he can peek all the way through and get the run on him. And he's trying to look for the daylight, but just can't quite get there. Slaunch is gonna drive around the high side and hold on to the lead still. It's only like around 15 laps remaining or so. So Slaunch doing a really good job so far. And again, like I said, up and down season for him so far. 5 wins already in Firestone Firehawk, which is pretty nuts, but has not picked up a win in the Reach Throwback yet. So, and he's got a pretty good shot here if this race stays green. So he's going to try to keep that up the best that he can. Meanwhile, we're on board with Detail, and he's running behind Soul and Vulcan and trying his best to keep up with them, which is tough because they're holding a draft. But like I said, I mean, they're swapping so much and they're scrubbing so much speed. I mean, it honestly looks like Detail's catching up to him. He's kind of gotten away from Opix, and it seems like he's very slightly, like little by little, trying to pull up to these guys. Yeah, their draft is really weird. I don't know what's up with that. They Vulcan and Soul do not seem to have as good of a connection with the draft. It seems it doesn't seem like it's working out too well for him. And Detail's even like running the middle here, trying to look away and now trying to look to the inside and try to work something here. Maybe find an opening. Maybe he can hook up with Vulcan, because that pair worked pretty well the last time. Can't quite find the opening there though. But yeah, these guys have been duking it out all race. This podium battle heating up with getting closer and closer to like 10 laps to go here. So not that much time remaining, and it could get interesting here at the end. Yeah, the second race of the night will be Ladder Goat GP. That's I think the last of. Oh no, Laguna Seca is in the schedule, so that would be the last one. Ladder Goat is the second to last HRL GP in the schedule. So we'll have one more of those style of GP after Ladder Goat, and it's an interesting one. It's one where I think at like first glance it doesn't really seem to I can honestly see it being kind of similar to Road America in a way, where at first glance it doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot to it. It doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of ways to make up time and stuff like that. But then you race it and you realize it's like, oh well, actually there is. Actually there is a few ways. I mean, we saw that in Road America. A lot of people expected the gaps to not be too big, and were even saying during the race that the gaps wouldn't be too big, but that is not what we saw during the race. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then I honestly think Ladder Goat could play out in a similar way. It's quite a different track than Road America. It actually has some let-off spots. Of course, Road America does not. But the way that they, like the type of, I don't know, like GP category that they'd fit in, I feel like is almost kind of similar, where they're kind of like sneakily difficult, or sneakily skilled to be fast on that track, is kind of how I feel about it. And yeah, these guys just keep swapping, and Detail just needs to try to find an opening here. He just needs to try to find an opening. He's been trying to do it this entire time, and it's really tough when you're trying to do it on two guys that are drafting, unless one of them wants to dip out and draft with you, because they just keep, they'll lose a little bit, but then they hook back up with each other, and then they get away from you just enough, and then you get back to them. But look at this, the lag. Okay, the lag is getting kind of weird, so maybe some more lag cheese. We could see another caution here with the way they... Oh, yeah, this is getting weird. This is getting really weird. And it was Vulcan that cheesed the last time, so we're going to keep an eye out on these guys, see if something happens, because we're getting close to the end of the race. Wow, Detail doing a really good job taking the high entry right there, but just not able to make it happen. Like I said, when you're trying to do it on two drivers that are drafting, and, if they're committed to staying next to each other, it is tough. I mean, I think Detail definitely has the pace on them, but they're hooked up, and it's going to be hard to do. And Hunter, I think Hunter has a black screen, gets hit with the lag cheese. Unbelievable. It's actually not Vulcan and Soul that are going to bring out this late race caution, but there will be a late race caution with Hunter black screening at the worst possible time. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. So now this just absolutely spiced up the race. We're going to be going to the line. It's going to be 4 to go at the line. Slaunch and Luke on the front row. Vulcan and Soul, the draft partners. That's interesting. On the row behind him. Detail and Optics back next to each other again. And Hunter getting up close to us. Here we go. We're ready to go. Could be the last restart of the race. Spicing up this Charlotte race at the very end. Green flag. And Slaunch and Luke both get a pretty good start, actually. They got a goose length or two already on the second row, so they both got a really good start right there. But Slaunch is going to get ahead. Luke's going to tuck behind and see if he can find an opening. Soul and Vulcan are trying to hook back up. Detail's trying to get... It's just in an awkward spot, trying to protect the inside, trying to get to their inside, but he's kind of like stuck in the outside now, and he's got 2 sets of drafting partners around him, and he's just kind of left on his own. Oh, you hate to see it. This is not where you want to be at this point in the race, and yeah, this can definitely happen in these races, especially with the smaller lobby like this. Like sometimes you'll just get left out to dry. You got to remember there's only 7 people, so wrong place, wrong time, and gonna fall to the back on that one. So that is unfortunate. Already looking like could be a mulligan race for him on this one. That is not what he wanted here on that restart. But Soul and Vulcan trying to hook it up, trying to catch up to Slaunch and Luke. It'd be crazy if they could get a really good draft here and, you know, really spice this up getting to the end, but it just doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. I mean, they're trying, and Hunter and Opix have found something here, but still just quite not there. And we go to the white flag. Last lap, Slaunch trying to take his first win in the Reach Throwback Series. He's had a really, like I said, a really good Firestone Firehawk so far, but has not been able to put it all together in the Reach Throwback until this race at Charlotte. He's going to do it, goes across the line in first. Luke takes second. That's a photo finish. That's a photo finish. And Detail will finish 7th. Let's get the quick before Reach conks. Don't conk me. Oh, shit. It's going to be close, isn't it? Oh, here we go. We got lucky. We got lucky. So let's take a look at the photo finishes. So obviously, Slaunch and Luke are pretty clear ahead. But then we have photo finishes, and when you look at that, Vulcan is going to take 3rd over Soul. So good for Vulcan there. It's really tough with those draft battles. You don't really know how those are going to go, but as you can see, Vulcan's definitely got that edge right there. So Vulcan picking up a podium, maybe his first. So on the seat, I think his first is Vulcan picking up his first podium, and Slaunch picking up his first win. And then we have the battle to the line with Hunter and Opix will definitely get that one as well. So Opix is going to get that. Wow, 2 photo finishes. 2 photo finishes. Then Detail's going to bring it across in 7th. Not able to find anyone to work with there at the end. But yeah, pretty interesting Charlotte race. We had a pretty good battle for like 3rd, 4th, 5th, like the entire race. And then late race caution mixes things up. Slaunch and Luke battled for a while in the lead too. And then it ends up being... Slaunch ends up running away with it, and it ends up being 2 photo finishes in the mid-pack at the line. So pretty sweet. Pretty sweet, but congrats to Slaunch on the win. And now we're going to move on to Ladder Goat.